I'm good.
Welcome back.
Good. Thank you. I love Toronto. It's good to be here. I've had great experiences here, so I'm really
Yes,
happy.
you have. Well, you've brought us another one, and I'm telling you, my friend, I don't know how you do it. You're a writer, co-writer, director, actor, producer. Do you ever get time to sleep?
I didn't sleep that much doing this movie, unfortunately, but I do. I am quite a sleeper. I'm actually kind of a legendary sleeper, so don't you worry. The couch knows the feel of my body. It knows its outline, so I get my sleep.
Well, that's good. Well, you've done an outstanding job with this, and
Thank you.
obviously, even just watching it, and anyone who knows you or has read about you knows, you're a Beantown man. I mean, you're a Boston babe, and this has to have been such a labor of love for you because it really comes through.
Yeah, well, it was definitely something that I felt as though in order to be successful, I would need to dedicate myself to completely. And all this stuff about Boston was wonderful, and I liked it because it brought me home. And it was also kind of a crutch because I knew a lot about it. So I could kind of fall back on stuff and pull interesting things out, or I wouldn't have been able to making a movie in Toronto or Arkansas or France. And I got the chance to shoot in Fenway Park, for this robbing Fenway Park, and I got the chance to shoot in the North End, and I got the chance to shoot in Charlestown. These iconic places. I even shot a little bit in Cambridge where I grew up. So that's a sort of a bonus, and it was exciting for me. But I definitely stayed focused on the fact that this has to be a movie that the audience likes watching every minute.
Yeah, and as you said, you grew up in Cambridge. So how did you come to know about Charleston and about what goes on there? Because that's pretty frightening.
Yes, it is. Well, Charlestown was about 2 miles away from where I grew up, and except it was kind of worlds apart. We knew about these towny kids, and they were super tough. They played hockey with a lot of kids I went to grade school with who played hockey and ended up going to some of the private Catholic schools. So there was kids I knew from Charlestown, but we knew, like I said, you wouldn't want to get in a fight with them, and that they had this code of silence going on where over a period of years they had about 50 murders and only 25% were solved. That was really scary. I knew a little bit less about the bank robbery, and so when I came back, I did a lot of studying about that, and I was really struck by what I found, particularly a period in the 90s that was just off the hook, just rampant guys knocking over armed trucks, crews doing so many jobs. It was kind of amazing. And I sort of pushed that up a decade or so forward and surrounded this movie with that sort of that feel and that vibe and that environment.
Yeah, your casting choices were fantastic, and I want to start with, of course, Jon Hamm, because we all love and know him as Don Draper, and it's hard for somebody who is, kind of pigeonholed in a character, especially as specific as Don is, to kind of break through. But he's proven to us that he can do comedy and he can do other things. Wow, what did you see in him to say, hey, he's going to be this FBI guy, and I know he's going to be great?
Well, in movies where someone who's a criminal is the protagonist, oftentimes they make the law enforcement person, the antagonist, sort of unappealing. Because they think, oh, well, we don't want the audience to root for this guy. But I wanted to try having a guy who we did root for, who we liked, who kind of felt like the hero of the movie. And so to have somebody with some edge, who was tough, but also strangely likable in a way, even though he's doing something that is chasing our guy that we're supposed to like, I couldn't think of anyone better. He's just infinitely likable, but he's a real man. He's a man's man, and he kind of gets it, and he comes across in a very sort of imposing but likable but sharp way. I can't imagine what I would have done if he said no. I would have been screwed.
Yeah, no, well, yeah, he did a great job. And Blake Lively, boy, she knocked it out of the park.
She sure did. She read for the part. She was amazing, and I just thought she's going to surprise a lot of people. No one's seen her play a role like this, and she's a really gifted actress, and I think she's going to have a great future.
I peg you for a Gossip Girl fan.
I'd never seen the show, but I had seen this movie, the Pippa Lee movie, yes, that Rebecca Miller directed with Robin Wright. Robin's one of my favorite actresses, and then I saw her, and I thought, gosh, she's amazing. And I talked to Robin, she said, yeah, this girl's really the real thing. And that's how I got turned on to Blake.
Yeah, she's fantastic in it. How do you hold it all together, Ben, when you're on set like this, especially something as big as this? The car chases, everything that you've given us in this is just huge. But you're acting in it. You've got so many hats on in this. How do you keep it all together? What's your secret?
I don't know if I have any secrets. It was it was challenging. It's a challenge to do all this stuff at once. Directing, a movie for me is about just trying to focus on a lot of different things and keep them all going. And mostly it's about preparation ahead of time. You have to know I have to know what I'm doing. I have to have storyboards. I have to look at what's going to happen. And I have to be expertly supported, which I was, by not just the actors, but all the technical crew people. I mean, Sharon Seymour, Robert Elswit, Dylan Titchener, just Chris Rouse, on and on. Alex Witt, Gary Himes, this stunt car drivers. I mean, they're incredible. You know, it's not me just making the movie. It's a lot of talented people.
Yeah, but you're behind the 8 ball.
I am behind the 8 ball. That's a very apt description of where I am.
Yeah, and you know, like I say, you know, 2 for 2 with your directing. Is this somewhere where you really want to, you know, just continue on? Do you want to just move more to the directing, or do you still want to?
I'd like to keep acting and directing, and that's what I'll do as long as I have the opportunity to. Directing, you know, luckily I can be in movies that I direct, I suppose, or not. But the only problem with acting and directing is that directing takes so much time. It can kind of tilt you in one direction. But you know, I'm going to go act in a movie now, so it doesn't. You know, you're able to do stuff in between directing jobs.
Yeah, and we're going to see you in Company Men.
You are going to see me in Company Man, which everyone should go see in October. It's wonderful. John Wells did this lovely movie. Chris Cooper, Tommy Lee Jones, really, really good, hopeful movie about people's relationships with companies, about their families, about the economic crisis, about what we're all kind of going through.
Yeah, I love John Wells, like ER, you know.
He's the best. He did ER. He's done some of the great shows on television. He understands drama like very few.
Yeah, I want to go back a little bit also to talk about Jeremy Renner, because here's you know, Mr. Hurt Locker, you know, that came out of nowhere, and look what happened with that movie, my goodness. And it was a Toronto film, by the way, too, at the film festival.
Acquired at the film festival.
That's right. And my God, you know, he scared the crap out of me in this film. He really, you know, and again, gave it his all for you.
Renner is very good. You know, Gus Van Sant told me that directing was 90% casting, and I tend to agree. I mean, you know, Renner, Hamm, Blake, Becca, Pete, and Chris are all just fabulous. So they make the movie much better just by showing up to work. You know, having a cup of coffee in the morning. And Renner is amazing. You know, he kind of gravitated towards the people that he needed to get close to research his part. And he went to the prison. And he met these bad guys, and he really did it. And you know, Jeremy Renner just makes your movie better. You're lucky to have him.
Yeah, and so I guess, you know, Boston has made you their major hero now, because
I don't know about that. I've made Boston my hero. I don't know what they say about me.
Well, you got and the sweatshirts and jackets. You got it in there a lot. We knew what city we were watching.
It's all realistic.
It's fantastic. You really outdid yourself on this one. I don't know how you're going to top it, but congratulations.
Thanks
Best
very
of
much.
luck to you,
I really
Ben.
appreciate it.
Oh,
Thank
you're
you.
so welcome.